What's up guys, it's Jack from the Sanctum squad. So today I'm going to be showing you my Labrynth deck. So this is a deck that I've recently picked up. It's a deck that I've wanted to learn for a long time now, but I've always put it off because I think I think it's quite intimidating because I think it's quite intricate, and I think it's quite skill intensive. Like I think it's very easy to misplay with this deck. But I've started to learn it. I've only really played with it online so far, but I should be seeing the boys tonight to get some testing in and see how the deck holds up. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So for the monsters, we've got 3 Arias, 1 Q-Clock, 3 Stovey, and 3 Chandraglia. So what I've sort of like noticed in the deck is like I think these are the reason why this deck is viable, and the reason is because it's a trap deck, and obviously trap cards, they haven't aged the best in Yu-Gi-Oh. They're a little bit slow for now, like nowadays game. But what these cards all do is they allow you to accelerate trap cards. So obviously Arias and Q-Clock let you activate traps to turn the set. Arias even lets you set a card out your hand as well, like as a quick effect. So you can like flip a broken trap on your opponent's turn 0. And then the Stovey Torby and the Chandraglia, they both set traps from the deck as a quick effect, so even when you go in second, when your turn starts, you've actually got a live trap card. So yeah, I love these cards. I think they're great. I think Q-Clock's my favourite, I think. So yeah, that's it for like the furnitures. And then we got the Ariana. So this is a basic searcher. On summon, it just searches a Labrynth card, and then it's got like a cool draw effect where if a monster leaves the field by a card effect, you can draw a card and then special summon a fiend out your hand or set a back row. This effect lets you do additional damage in the battle phase because it means you can attack with one of the big monsters, use a trap to remove something, and then return the monster to your hand, and then special summon it back out and attack again. But yeah, like you're definitely gonna play this. It's like the best normal summon in the deck. And then we've got the two boss monsters. So obviously this one is not very good to draw. You don't want to see it in your hand ever, really. But this one actually lets you summon it out of the hand, which is quite cool. I'm going to assume that you know what all these cards do, by the way, because like obviously it's quite an old deck at this point. Like they have been out for quite a few years. But yeah, I think one of each of these is enough. I've never really wanted a second one of these. One of the lady. But yeah, that's it for like the Labrynth monsters. And then the only other monster I play is Absolute King Blackjack, which I'm playing 2 of. So this is what, like, there are a few cards in this deck that I'm playing 2 of that I would love to play 3 of, but because I'm experimenting with a very specific card, there kind of isn't room to do it. So just 2 Blackjack, I think this card's great in this deck. It synergizes with the furniture cards so well. Yeah, this card's good. And then for the spell cards, we've got 3 Pot of Extravagance. So in this deck, it's basically just Pot of Greed because there are very few really important extra deck cards, and the ones that are important you can just play 3 of. That's it for the spells. So I want to note that I'm not playing with the field spell yet. So I've basically watched almost every deck profile on YouTube of like Labrynth, like recent deck profiles, and everyone plays the field spell. But the only reason why I'm not playing it is because I haven't tested it yet. The reason why I haven't tested it yet is because in my testing I've never actually noticed that I've needed it. So if you think I'm completely wrong and I should definitely just be playing the field spell, just let me know down below. And I think it probably is correct to play it. Like I trust everyone else. If I'm the only person saying that you don't need to play it, then I'm probably wrong. And then for the trap cards, we've got 2 welcome, and then 3 big welcome. So these are basically what make the deck tick. So these basically just summon Labrynth monsters from your deck, or deck, graveyard, or hand with this one. So big welcome is actually sort of like the card that makes the whole deck work because it triggers all the effects. So it'll trigger the effects of the Stovey Torby and Chandraglia to add back and special from grave. It'll trigger the Ariana to draw a card, and it'll trigger the Lovely to pop a card as well. So this card is sort of like this deck's choke point. Adding on to that, the cards that beat this card are basically Ash, Bell, and Impulse. So I think going forward, if Bell continues to be played, and especially like next format with Justice Hunters coming out, because I think Bell is pretty good against that meta as well, against like Yumi and the K9 engine. If people continue to play Bell and it becomes even more popular, I might even consider playing the 3rd copy of the Little Welcome, because this card helps you beat Ash and Bell, because what you can do is if you have both of these, you can activate this one first to summon Lovely, and then afterwards you can activate this to trigger all your effects, and they won't be able to chain a monster to it, so it'll let you beat Ash and Bell. You'll still lose to Impulse, unfortunately. But yeah, and I think as well, if I was to play a 3rd copy of Little Welcome, I would absolutely definitely just put the field spell in, because if you're like maxing on each of these, so say you open a hand and you've got one of each of these and a furniture piece, it's kind of redundant if you don't have a field, like a third target to get. So yeah, those are just my thoughts going forward. And then for the other traps, so this is the card that I'm experimenting with. So it's Songs of the Dominators. So basically, it's a hand trap that says you can only activate it from your hand if you've got no monsters in your grave. And then when you activate it, you negate the effect of a monster on the field. It doesn't target the monster, it sort of like chains directly to it, sort of like Ghost Ogre. So it's actually pretty good against Vanquish Soul, because they can't dodge it with like Borga or Caesar. And then it says if you have a trap in your grave, on resolution, you get to search for a Dominus card from your deck to your hand, so it searches Impulse. But it does have a big restriction. So it says after this card is resolved, you can't activate the effects of monsters in your hand, grave, or banished until the end of the next turn. So obviously that does turn off like your furniture cards and stuff. But the reason why I like this card is because it's a hand trap that searches a hand trap, and I think that is a little bit more important, especially when you're going second, than to be under the lock. So I quite like this card. One thing that I don't like about this card is the cards that you have to play to facilitate it. So obviously you play free Impulse, because Impulse is just it's a solid hand trap. Being able to search it is like really good as well, especially against like the Mitsurugi deck. But something that I don't like is that it kind of forces you to play Impermanence, and I don't really like Impermanence as a card at the minute. But I think you do have to play it because it does increase your chances of opening like alive Songs so that you can search for the Impulse. So yeah, so with this as well, what you can do is you can just activate it, and then you can chain a furniture to discard a trap, and then that'll put the trap in the grave, and then your furniture will resolve to set you one of the welcome cards, and then you'll search for Impulse. So yeah, look, I think this card is quite good. The only thing I really don't like about it is the fact that it forces you to play Imperm. Not only because I don't really like Imperm, but it cuts into your deck space. So this is the reason why we've had to play like 2 of certain cards, and you'll see some more in a moment. But yeah, those are just sort of like the hand traps, I guess. This deck is probably one of the better versions of Labrynth going second, because you have all this additional disruption. So yeah, the next card is Trap Trick. This is a card that I think I definitely would want to play 3 of if I had the space for it. It's just extremely versatile. Going first or second, it's just really good, especially like with when you take Arias into consideration, because when you go first, it can just be a welcome, and then when you go second, it can be like a Daruma Cannon or like a Black Ghost if you want. So yeah, I like this card a lot. The restriction on this, like only being able to activate 1 trap card for the rest of the turn, is a big deal though. So yeah, you've just got to bear that in mind. And then the next card is Black Goat Laughs. So a lot of the deck profiles that I've watched play transaction rollback in this sort of slot. But the reason why I've sort of leaned towards the Black Goats is because when you go second and you've got like Arias or a furniture piece, it actually turns this card into like a disruption. Whereas when you have transaction rollback and you open one of those cards, the rollback doesn't really do anything on your opponent's turn. The best thing that it does is it copies the welcome card that you set off your furniture piece. So for that reason, I do prefer this card. But yeah, let me know again, if you think rollback is just better than this card, just let me know. Like I say, I am still learning this deck, so this might not be perfect. So 2 Black Goats and then 2 Karma Cannons, which I probably will get roasted for. A lot of people say this is like the best card in the deck, but it is a card that I decided to cut down on to make room for the hand traps. But yeah, this card is very powerful. It outs the Lunar Light fusion monster, which is really good, obviously. Yeah, this card is great. And then for the extra deck, so it is an extravagance extra deck, so it's just like 3 of all the most important stuff. So we've got 3 Chaos Angel, 3 Typhon. So Typhon at the minute I think is one of the most important cards, especially when you're going second, because what you can do is you can just normal something, turn it into Typhon, and then it stops Detonator being a problem, because Detonator can attack trap decks quite well. So yeah, I think these are very important. Muckraker comes up a lot. Obviously the whole deck is Fiend monsters, and you get as the game goes on, you get sort of a lot of advantage in your hand, adding back Chandriglia and Kuklok and stuff, which you can leverage into different kind of advantage with this card by reviving stuff. And then this is probably wrong. You can probably play something else, but I'm just playing 3 SP, 2 Anima and 2 Anima and an Almirage. These are basically just to link off the Backjack. and SP is because I'm lazy and I didn't want to look at like what other options that you should play. Dark Charmer is probably quite good. You could probably play the Underworld Goddess if you really wanted like an extra deck out to the Lunar Light Towers. But I just don't think it's realistic that you're gonna sort of like summon that card using the Liger Dancer as material, because they're just gonna nuke your board before you do that. And then onto the side deck, so we got some more Charmies. So we got Fuelos and Perulia, which need no explanation. They're like some of the most powerful cards in the game at the minute. Freelancia for Malice. And then for going first, we've got 2 Sanctum that you can trap trick into and then summon Lancia against Malice. You can put in different Dimension Ground and trap trick into it. And then the cool card is Mischief of the Gnomes. So this card is really bad, except for against Mitsurugi Royal specifically, because it's basically the only thing that sort of stops both engines. Now this isn't perfect, there are ways for them to play around this, but I think like you need to try and take the chance of this card being good against them. This card is good with both the furniture pieces and Arias, because you can discard it for a furniture and activate it from grave, or you can set it from your hand with Arias and activate it that way. But yeah, that's it for the side deck. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this deck. Obviously this is my first draft, and like I say, I am still learning the deck. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.